you, and very good morning to all of you. It's my pleasure to be in front of you for the next 15-20 minutes, and Dr. Bhatia introduced me like a school teacher, so let me see how much of that is getting demonstrated here. So thank you for this opportunity. Once again, really happy to see all of you. I'm from ADP. My name is Kavitha Rajan, and here what we wanted to kind of share is about the potential of payroll as we see in 2024. Many of you would know ADP is in this, it's a pioneer in the payroll industry, and we are around for almost 70 years. We're headquartered in the US. In India, we're present for almost 2 decades, serving global clients, and we work with many of the clients across all segments in India, right? So coming back to our today's agenda, in terms of what is the potential of payroll in 2024, so we kind of conducted a global survey across 19 countries, and we interviewed more than 1,700 plus very senior HR leaders, board members, management professionals in terms of who have direct responsibility of payroll. How do they kind of see in terms of what is the potential of payroll in terms of the role it can play from a strategy perspective, right? And so when you look at, as leaders, what we are essentially looking at is what can be in the future, right? What could be the strategy? What is driving your strategy? What are your ambitions when it comes to the payroll space? What kind of challenges the professionals are facing, and kind of what kind of solutions they can kind of work for the next 2 to 3 years, right? So that is on the one side from a strategy perspective. On the operational side, we also ask them, what is the current state of the payroll? How is it currently performing, right? Are there transformational initiatives which the organizations are driving? Number 2. And in the world of a lot of tech disruption, what are the innovations that they are driving in this solution part, and what initiatives they are kind of taking to kind of future-proof their payroll? So these are the broad questions. We will kind of share the link where you will be able to download this detailed report also. So this is the survey that we did for 2024, and I mean, it's many of you are in this field. You will be able to relate to it. You will be able to kind of agree and validate also. In 2024, the whole game is going to be how are we going to balance the conflicting priorities, right? What are the challenges you are facing, and what are the opportunities in terms of how we can transform payroll? Definitely, there are risks involved, and also the reward part. You may think, is it different from what all of you have gone through in the past 4 years, starting from COVID, where the CIO took the role of transformation, digitization, etc. Then we've kind of faced the great attrition, the retention challenges. We faced work from home, hybrid work environment. Again, this year, the tech disruption, economic uncertainty are driving so many other factors, right? So this 2024 is going to be unique in its own way, given the multiple conflicts that rest of the world is also facing. So when it comes to the drivers of payroll transformations, there are 4 main things that came out of this global survey. One is definitely driving cost efficiencies. I mean, this is something very fundamental. Most of the time, all the organization kind of grappling with it, but at the same time, how do you drive cost efficiency without compromising on the business productivity, without compromising on the growth of the business? That's number 1. Number 2 is also how do you continue to improve the digitization of the organization, right? Every organization is in a various phase of the journey. Within that, the HR and the payroll stream could be in a different phase. So how do you actually improve the digitization part? So together, driving cost efficiency and digitization, jointly they become the largest priority for the HR leaders and the payroll leaders. I mean, next, in terms of the next priority would be in terms of, how do you drive productivity efficiencies within the function, operational level efficiencies. And the last one, but the most important part is also how do you improve the employee experience. In the given context, employee experience takes the top stage, and that kind of relates to how, that also gives you the opportunity to kind of look at what are the gains that you will be able to drive, what are the improvements that the organization can give to the employees, right? So employee experience doesn't mean just the tech part of it, the mobile access, then a lot of other things. It is also evolving into how do you protect the data, right? In terms of, ensuring that only payrolls are very personal information. Only they get to know what, they're getting paid. How do you protect the data? That is number one. Number two is also how can you give them more financial freedom in terms of, enabling them new ways of paying them. You would know, many of you may be already practicing new ways of paying the employees also, right? So these are some of the things which, we'll cover in the next few minutes. So when it comes to the employee, so the study essentially gave 4 main themes. I'm going to kind of share very quickly the 4 main themes. The first theme is around employee experience. I really like the word. Payroll is the reward center of every organization, right? It's not a cost kind of a thing. It's actually a reward center for all organizations. We as employees are also engaged to kind of receive our payroll every month. So it becomes a very critical and vital part of the experience, and hence it's the top of the agenda. Within the employee experience, when the survey revealed that the fundamentals are there, but not 100%, right? Like last year, the accuracy was 75%. This year, it is slightly improved. So average, the accuracy level is about 78% is what the survey kind of shares. So because of this 78% only, which means it's not 100%, the kind of queries which employees raise is coming very thick and fast. 44% of the volume of the queries is around the quality of the payroll, the accuracy of the payroll itself. If you kind of see the kind of queries that are raised is also how many hours did I work and how much am I actually getting paid. That's about 90% of it, right? What kind of benefits that am I eligible for? Am I getting all the benefits? That is also around 19%. It could be change of personal details like bank accounts, it's not correct, or maybe my nominee details are not right, all those kind of things. Because of the cost of living crisis, higher inflation, a lot of other factors of driving the cost of living. The cost of living crisis is actually contributing to about 12% request, can I access my earned wage earlier? Can I not wait till the end of the month? Can I have it a little earlier maybe because there is an emergency? It could be medical, it could be some other things. Can I get paid earlier? There are also inaccuracies in terms of the pay. People are either feeling they're underpaid or they are inaccurate in their net pay. The tax withholding, because I'm eligible for certain tax exemptions, but the way it is calculated is not correct. So these are some of the predominant queries, which kind of really, it impacts the satisfaction level, it definitely impacts the experience part of it. And also you will see the access and the password, the data part of it also, right? So these are some of the main challenges, which impacting the accuracy, which is extremely fundamental, which can impact employee experience, quite directly also. In terms of, so if you see the expectation employees is having on organization is only ever increasing. I need to work from home. I should have more wellness benefit. I should have the autonomy of when I should get paid. I should also have what kind of pay. A lot of expectations is also increasing on the employers. So how are they actually shaping up? How are they meeting these growing and changing expectations, right? The survey kind of revealed that about 28% of the organization and the leaders are working towards areas of how do we increase the basic, the fundamental part of it, which is the accuracy, the next 2 to 3 years. While they take care of the basic part, they're also kind of thinking about, how do I proactively cater to the employee requirements by thinking about ways of alternative pay methods. Can we pay them earlier? Can we pay them, multiple times rather than once a month? Can we also look at flexible pay options, different ways, in which they can take the salary, just not the basic part. Again, we talked about the more frequent pay cycles. And I think you may laugh, but in India, we may not think much about cryptocurrency, but I think since it was a global survey, they're also thinking about can it be paid through cryptocurrency. So those are some of the interesting parts. So while we take care of the fundamentals, but also look at future, the potential part of it, and how you can innovate in terms of how employees get rewarded. The theme is around data security. I think all of you would have experienced over the past couple of years. IT is becoming an extremely critical part of your payroll decision, the kind of technology that you will use, the kind of partner that you will work with. I'm just sharing a quote from Senior Vice Director of Mondelez International. The first time you are ready for a malware, the first time you are not ready for a malware attack, and it is accepted, right? I mean, okay, this is happening for the first time, but not afterwards. There is no explanation, there is no excuses of how you are kind of running the payroll strategy without data protections in place. So that is the second most important theme. Data is really becoming very, very critical. The kind of security breaches that you can have, people are responding, almost 60% of them are impacted in the past 2 years in terms of data security breach. It could be a minor breach, it could be major. When I mean minor, the number of employees who are impacted, the extent of impact, is it only the basic information which is compromised, or the complete detail, is my organization data out in the dark web? What kind of things which I can be vulnerable for? So about 45% have said either minor or major breach, and also they are also thinking that 46% of them say data security is becoming an extremely important strategy for decision making in terms of choosing the right technology or the partner. So going a little bit more into the details, so how are they getting prepared in terms of how do they kind of address this most important theme of data? Some of them have developed playbooks and contingency plan in some of the countries, and I'm just mindful of the time, and some of them are not considering building any plans at all, a very less percentage of about 13%, right? So what the main point here is that this is becoming an important theme, and organizations are moving in that direction. And at ADP, this is one of the most important points that we kind of focus on. We have in fact a critical response center across 3 different continents in the world. 365 days, 24/7, people are kind of looking at the data that that we are working for our clients. The third is also, there is a lot of expansion even within India. Number of organizations expanding globally is only increasing. That's one trend. Second trend is also number of investments India is able to attract is also very high. So people are either in the global organizations or Indian organization going global. So we work with both the worlds. So what is becoming critical in global payroll is also how do you drive compliance in each of the markets that you're operating in? Do you have expert team to kind of manage your payroll in those in all the countries? Number one. And from an organization level, from a headquartered level, are you able to have a one global view in terms of reporting? You're able to drive strategic decision based on data and analytics. So these are some of the challenges which the leaders are going through. As I said, what is also important when it comes to either be country-specific payroll or also in terms of global is also, can we have integrated system? Can we integrate not only from a HR perspective, but also in terms of other business functions, right? So this is one of the important part. In addition to the data, IT is also playing a very critical role when it comes to integration, and I'm sure all of you are also kind of looking into it. So this is a few analysis in terms of number of hours people are putting in to ensure that the data is flowing seamlessly, because there is no automation in place as of now. So what does integration and data integrity currently look like? So 12% are not able to access the data for global reporting. That's what they are currently saying. And 31% have access to some part of the data, but it is not standard across all the countries, right? So these are some of the challenges which they're currently kind of going through, and they're focusing on how can they invest further to streamline these processes. Moving on. The fourth most important theme is also very I see it very personal when I speak to HR stakeholders. The makeup of the payroll team is really changing. The team is really becoming more modern, more from an operational to a more strategic role. And how this is kind of what is driving this? Definitely we talked about digitization. It is in progress in multiple ways, but not only the digitization part, what is also happening is 57% admit that they're having shortage of payroll staff. 62% kind of say how they can do more payroll with lesser people. This is a constant challenge all organizations are currently going through. The third part is also, how do you train your non-payroll staff to do kind of payroll, right? These are some of the very operational challenges which HR leaders currently go through, number one. And when I say modern payroll team, you may look, if 10 years back or even 5 years back, if you looked at it, the composition of the team, the composition of the skill of the team is really going for a drastic change. It's just no more, do you know how to do the payroll, do you know the taxation, it's not just about compliances. Definitely IT is becoming part of the payroll team, data security is becoming part of the payroll team. Of course, we talked about compliance and analytical part, right? And there are also people with skills who are required to see how can you improve the business processes, because you're working with multiple entities or multiple geographies, different business units. So a lot of other challenges. What are the ways you're able to drive major efficiencies? So this is the fourth theme which they're currently which is kind of emerging in terms of the potential. So are the leaders gearing up for this change? The answer is definitely yes, and you see that almost 69% are considering whether they should have the skill within their organization, because it is becoming complex. Is it the right decision to do, or can you kind of work with other partners, maybe like ADP, who have already invested, who comes with a lot of experience, the expertise, the technology, the global breadth when it comes to the data and the emerging security requirements. So they're definitely considering in that direction. And this is what I really liked. So when there is so much of complexities, conflicting priorities, what can the payroll leaders really do to shift the balance from being operational to be able to do a strategic role in the organization? So that is the potential that kind of emerges from it, and it is not really complicated. I would say it's again going back to basics. One is focus on the fundamentals, drive more accuracy, ensure that the payroll is getting on time. So maybe either within in-house or you can work with external partners, number one. Investment in technology, in automation will definitely help you to kind of move more in the accuracy part, number one. Consider the value and not the cost of payroll tools, just not the number of people and the technology that you are currently using. Actually, Forrester has kind of done a study, and their analysis of global organization is there is definitely 131% return on investment when they look at automation, better technologies in the payroll. Because I know I work with many clients. A business case is very much required. The finance has to approve, the board has to approve. What is the ROI? These are very common questions. The total economic impact survey, the study done by Forrester really clearly demonstrates that there's a big opportunity here in terms of how you can really transform payroll. That's the second part. The third is also how can leaders prioritize data? How do you seamlessly integrate? How do you actually automate so that the main the top of the agenda, the employee experience, driving business growth can be ensured. That's the third. The fourth one is definitely how can you leverage technology, decrease the admin load, remove manual work, and how many times if there is no manual work, you don't have to iterate. Data is kind of seamlessly flowing, the processes are getting done. So these are the opportunities or the potential I think the leaders are working towards in this space. And with that, I think I would like to share, you can download the report, you will be able to, it's a very nice, comprehensive, very insightful report, I would say. The link is available, and we are also here if you would like to have any further discussion on this. And thank you very much for this opportunity. I'm sorry if I overshot the time, and I was a little passionate about sharing what I wanted to. Yeah, thank you.
Let me thank Kavitha for this very insightful presentation and great work that ADP did. If we don't pay them right, nothing else works, so we have to pay them properly. So thank you so much, Kavitha. And I have for you this plaque. Thank you. And also, Harvey's mother's great book.